Hello all and welcome. In this video, we'd like to show you some of the most basic tips and tricks for using the Query Explorer interface within Einstein Analytics. This video is intended to show you the absolute basics so that we can quickly jumpstart into some more advanced features when we're covering and discussing this in our class and webinar sessions. All right, so how do we get to the Query Explorer of Einstein Analytics? Again, we activate the app launcher and select Analytics Studio. Once we're in the Analytics Studio, we want to be generating these queries and explore from a data set, so I may quickly browse all items, jumping into my data sets, and here is an opportunities data set that I'd like to explore. Here I am now building a basic query from the Explorer interface. We can see that we have the opportunity to interact with the elements related to the data, and if we want to add filters to find subsets of data, looking for a different date range, looking for specific accounts, etc., anything in our data set we can add as a filter. Another commonly used feature up here in the right is called our 3-mode switcher. If we'd like to switch from the chart mode to a tabular interface to view a values table or a compare table or pivot table, we will use this, as well as if we would like to edit a very advanced SQL query, we may do that here. But we'll stay in the chart mode for now, and here if we would like to change the measure that we would like to aggregate instead of a count of rows, maybe we want to look at the sum of amount. So here I'm looking at the sum of the amount. And maybe I want to group by the owners, so I can select the owner name for the opportunities. So now I'm grouping by the owners. And if we're looking at sum of amount, the common operation is to do sort descending. So here I go sort descending, and I can quickly see that Irene is selling the most deals. The trellis option allows us to split this chart into a subset of charts. For example, if we want to trellis by account type, we can see that we have the different options for the customer versus the partner account type. And we may also change the chart type. Over here we may select a different chart. So for example, an interesting one might be to do a stacked bar chart, but that's certainly stacking a lot of information together for this type of data, so we might not want to do owner name anymore, but maybe we do instead the opportunity type. So now it's a little bit easier to discern what's going on. And then we also can mix things up pretty interestingly to switch to a completely different chart. Now if you notice here, as we're changing to the different charts, our options to tailor the data are changing. It's no longer bars, it's telling us that whatever we select here is going to be changing what data is being displayed on the segments. And still here for the trellis though is the account type of customer versus partner. Another common interaction is that if we have made a mistake, we may always use these undo buttons, and we can also go back forward again if we want. So here I go back to the state where I was looking at the sales and seeing that Irene Kelly was selling the most deals. Something I may want to also change is the limit. Right now we're showing potentially hundreds of reps. There's not that many in this organization. However, we could edit the limit to perhaps say that instead we want to do the top 5. Now as you can see here, the label for the owner is owner.name. And perhaps we would like to update that. So to do that, we go ahead and simply hit the drop down here, and we can activate the Show Fields panel. Now that I'm looking at the Show Fields, I can search for that owner.name field, and here I see owner.name. I can simply click on it, and instead of owner.name, I can just say, I can edit it however I want. Here I'm just going to say that it's the owner. And also you can see that you have additional options for editing the owner. You may edit the values, which is more commonly used for true-false types of fields that maybe you want to change true-false to yes and no. And you may also edit the colors for when different results are displayed. However, these colors will only apply to donut charts and stacked bars. In later sessions, we will talk about how we may use conditional formatting if we'd like more control of color in these scenarios. Now, with measure fields, we have some additional options. It's common that folks want to format their numbers as they appear on all the places where they are visible. That's where you may do that here with this Format Numbers interface. All my changes are in. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. It's going to be applied to everywhere that this data set is used. And if we go ahead and close our Fields panel, we can now see that it no longer says owner name, it just says owner. We have correctly updated the field. And this completes the key features that we'll be using for the Query Explorer. Thank you.